to the American people, you've got to be frustrated by your Congress not being able to do the hard things, and sometimes even the simple things. This should give you a little bit of hope that for the first time since 2007, the United States Senate, in a bipartisan fashion, is about to pass legislation on an important topic that's emotionally tough but needs to be dealt with. To the critics, I appreciate the debate this time around. It's been so much better. But some of the criticism I'm going to address. Senator Rubio spoke in the most eloquent fashion about his family's history and about who we are as Americans. But everybody has a story. Marco's story is an exceptional story. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. Neither one of my parents graduated high school. My dad and mom ran a restaurant, a liquor store, and a pool room. And I learned everything I needed to know about politics in the pool room. Great place to learn about people. But one of the critics of this bill, one of the organizations, said that the average illegal immigrant has a 10th grade education. Well, all I can tell you is you got a United States senator who came from parents that didn't have a 10th grade education. To those who believe that how long you go to school determines your character, how much money is in the bank determines your worth, they really don't understand America. All in America can you do what Senator Rubio's done, and my parents have long since passed. When I was 21, my mom died, 17 years younger than my dad. We thought he would go first, but life just is not so understandable and predictable. She went first, and 15 months later, he passes. My sister was 12. An aunt and uncle helped raise my sister. They never made over $30,000 in a life. They worked in the textile plants. And she has turned out great in spite of having an overbearing brother. But I'm in the United States Senate today. Why? Because I live in a country where anything is possible, and there are a lot of self-made people in America. I am not one of them. If it weren't for my family and my friends, I would not be here today. To those who say that among this illegal immigrant population, they're just not well educated, you have no idea how offensive that is to a guy like me. So you can take your criticism, and we'll just end it at that. 80 million baby boomers are going to retire in the next 40 years. To my good friend from Alabama, who feels like we have too much legal immigration. You know, I'm taking Strom Thurmond's place. He got married and started having kids when he was 67. Unless all of us start doing that, we've got a problem. Because in 1955, there were 16 workers for every Social Security retiree. Today, there's 3. In 20 years, there's going to be 2. Unless there is a baby boom that I don't see coming, and I'm part of the problem. I'm married. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. Unless there's a baby boom that I don't see, we better hope we can improve our legal immigration system. So to my good friend from Alabama, I couldn't disagree with you more. We're going to need a lot more legal immigration that is in this bill. I wish we could do more. So who's going to take care of the baby boomers when we retire? Who's going to replace the workers in our economy if we don't have better legal immigration? What did the CBO say about this bill? If you pass this bill, over the next 20 years, you'll reduce the deficit by $890 billion. Well, how can that be? That means it's good for the economy. How can you reduce the deficit, $890 billion, if you don't create economic activity? To the American worker, the biggest threat to you is illegal immigration. Tell me how it's better for America to continue amnesty, which is doing nothing, paying people under the table with no regulation. How does that help the American worker to compete against some person who's being paid under the table? This bill stops that. It brings people out of the shadows on our terms, not theirs. You get to stay here if we decide you can stay. We're regaining our sovereignty that's been lost. How do you get 11 million illegal immigrants in this country? Your system is broken from top to bottom. Every nation, including America, has the right to control its borders and control who gets a job, and this bill does that, and I'm glad to have my name on it. And doing nothing is the worst thing for the American worker. So we're going to stop paying people under the table. We're going to give you access to labor you have today if you can't find it. Have you ever been to a meat packing plant? Well, you go and find out who's working in that plant. Mostly Hispanics, people from other parts of the world, not because native-born Americans are lazy. We have higher hopes. There are parts of our economy, like it or not, are dependent upon immigrant labor. And our population is declining, and our needs for legal immigration is growing. This bill does that. As it affects the economy, it will increase our GDP by 3.5% over time because it is good for America to have legal immigration. As to the 11 million, you will be brought out of the shadows and you will stay on our terms. If you committed a felony or multiple misdemeanors, you're not eligible. But here's what we're going to allow. Go through a criminal background check, pay a fine, get right with the law, and you'll have a legal status. Here's what you'll get to do. You'll get to pay taxes like the rest of us and get to know the IRS. Welcome to America. We're going to create order out of chaos. We're going to get people working and paying in rather than taking out under the table. And what we're going to do above all else, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to prove to ourselves that we can work together for the common good. I have never been more proud to be involved in an issue than I have trying to fix illegal immigration, because it's a national security threat, it's an economic threat, it's a cultural threat. As to my politics, I'm doing great among Hispanics in South Carolina. The bad news, there are not very many who vote in Republican primary. The good news for me is I think I have tried to work with my colleagues, the Gang of Eight, our staff, to start a process that will pay great dividends. To Senator Grassley and Leahy, thank you. To the Democratic and Republican members, thank you so much. I have never been more proud to be in the Senate than I am today. To my critics, I respect your criticism. Thank you for a healthy debate. To the American people, we're beginning, slowly but surely, in your Senate, the greatest deliberative body in history, come together to do important things. And to the 11 million, you will have a second chance. Take advantage of it. Embrace the fact that you're being given a second chance. To the American people, our best days lie ahead, and what makes us special, and I will close with this, is that being French means you're French. Being German means you're German. Being an American means nothing about where you come from, your race, your religion, or your background, your ethnic origin. Being an American is an idea that so many people embrace. Ladies and gentlemen, being an American is something everybody wants to be part of, apparently. Unfortunately, we can't allow everybody in a chaotic situation. So I want to thank Senator Durbin, who's protected the American worker, but I want to tell my colleagues in the Senate that this is a day I've been hoping and waiting for. Thank you all so very much.